Ruins, relics, and fragments of bone. For centuries, that was all the past left behind. The people themselves seemed lost forever, but modern science has changed that. From shattered skulls and ancient DNA, we can now see those who walked this earth thousands of years ago. This is Riddle Me This Mysteries, and this is episode 1, Faces That Defied Expectations. In the 1600s, a young woman was buried in the village of Pień, Poland, but her grave was like no other. A sharp sickle pressed across her neck, ready to cut should she rise. A heavy padlock clamped around her big toe, fastening her to the ground. To her community, she was a danger even in death. Centuries later, researchers restored her appearance. Not a monster, but a woman around 25 years old, ordinary in every way. Yet superstition turned her into a threat. Perhaps she had died suddenly, or looked unusual in death, enough to stir fears of the undead in an age of plague and panic. Chains and blades once bound her to the earth, but today her likeness speaks again. A voice from a time when fear shaped lives, and even death was no escape. And fear was not new. Long before her, another woman's remains told a different story, not of superstition, but of survival itself. In the mountains of northern Iraq lies Shanidar cave, where the bones of Neanderthals have rested for tens of thousands of years. Among them, archaeologists uncovered the fragile remains of a woman who lived around 75,000 years ago. They named her Shanidar Z, but her skull had been crushed into fragments, so damaged it seemed impossible to ever see her again. Piece by piece, researchers rebuilt what time had nearly erased. What emerged was not the heavy-browed brute once imagined, but a woman with delicate features strikingly familiar. She was about 40 years old, elderly by Neanderthal standards, suggesting her community cared for her through injury and age. Her face blurs the boundary we once drew between Neanderthal and human, showing how close we really were. Her likeness raises questions as old as humanity itself. Where does the line between us and them truly lie? And from the deep prehistory of Kurdistan, we move forward to post-Ice Age Europe, where another woman's reconstruction would overturn what we thought we knew about the first Europeans. In the river valleys of Belgium, another woman's remains revealed a different kind of surprise. She lived just after the Ice Age, about 10,500 years ago, among Europe's first hunter-gatherers. Archaeologists call her the Margaux woman. For years, textbooks described Europe's earliest peoples as uniform, pale-skinned, dark-eyed survivors of the cold. But Margaux defied that picture. Her reconstruction revealed light-colored eyes paired with medium-toned skin, a striking mix that showed Europe's ancestry was far more complex than once believed. She was part of a small band of hunter-gatherers, living off game, berries, and riverside resources in a world still reshaped by melting glaciers. One woman, overturning centuries of assumptions. She reminds us that identity has always been a mosaic, shifting, layered, unexpected. And in Egypt, another set of faces would emerge, not from bone fragments, but from the hidden code of ancient DNA. On the banks of the Nile, in a cemetery at Abusir el-Meleq, archaeologists uncovered hundreds of mummies dating back about 2,000 years. Unlike the golden coffins of pharaohs, these burials belonged to ordinary Egyptians of the Greco-Roman period, farmers, merchants, and families whose names were forgotten. From these remains, scientists extracted ancient DNA, fragile threads of genetic memory preserved through centuries. And for the first time, it was possible to reconstruct the appearance of Egyptians not from masks or statues, but from their own genetic code. Their features reflected a world of connections. Genetic testing revealed stronger ties to peoples of the Near East and Levant than to modern Egyptians, whose ancestry was later reshaped by African and Arabian migrations. This unexpected link shows how movement, empire, and trade shaped identity along the Nile. Yet their faces also carry a familiarity, a reminder that Egypt was never isolated, but always part of a larger story. From farmers of the Greco-Roman Nile to rulers of Egypt's most turbulent dynasty, Our final reconstruction takes us deeper into the Valley of the Kings and into one of history's most contested identities. In 1907, excavators entered a crumbling tomb in the Valley of the Kings. Inside lay a desecrated coffin, stripped of its gold, its inscriptions hacked away. The body within was hastily buried, then disturbed again. Scholars call it KV55, one of Egypt's most troubling burials. The identity of the man inside remains a mystery. Was he Akhenaten, the heretic pharaoh who defied Egypt's gods, or perhaps Smenkhkare, his elusive successor? Genetic testing suggests he was the father of Tutankhamun, but beyond that, answers blur into speculation. The man was only about 35 years old when he died, young for a pharaoh. Yet his burial bore the marks of erasure and disgrace. When his likeness was restored, the result was unsettling. A face caught between glory and obliteration, a ruler whose memory Egypt tried to destroy. His features force us to confront a question with no easy answer. Whose face are we truly seeing? From a suspected vampire in Poland to a forgotten farmer on the Nile, from Neanderthals to pharaohs, 5 faces return from the shadows. Each one reminds us that history is never fixed. It lives, it shifts, and sometimes it stares back at us. And this is only the beginning. More faces, more mysteries await in the episodes to come.